Howdy everybody, I wanted to make a video updating people because I am working on my Lost Highway video, which is going to be out hopefully in June, but I've had kind of slower output as of late because I have a bunch of projects that I'm getting started, but nothing is quite finished yet. But the main thing I've been focusing my free time on that I wanted to call attention to is that I am currently in the process of making a video game. I'm making it from scratch with no prior knowledge of coding except for a little bit that I was self-taught in years prior from working on little one-off projects for fun. So this is going to be my first ever full sort of video game, and it's made in Game Maker, which is not the best for making games, but Undertale and Hotline Miami were both made in Game Maker as far as I know, and so I know that it can do pretty good games and will probably be able to handle the kind of stuff I'm hoping to make. So this game that I'm working on, the working title right now is Dream Collider, and the game is sort of a cross between an old school adventure game and an old school RPG. Its influences are going to be kind of a weird variety. It's going to include Adult Swim cartoons like Aqua Teen Hunger Force and home movies and stuff like that, Homestar Runner, old Simpsons, and then also video games that are tie-ins to cartoons. Especially Cartoon Network used to have Flash games that you could play that were tie-ins to games like Dexter's Lab and Codename Kids Next Door, and then especially Virtual Bart on the Super Nintendo and old Simpsons games from the early days. I really have a fascination with American animation that tries to in some way simulate real sort of mundane life, and I wanted to make a game that kind of combines those interests, and so it's called Dream Collider, and it is looking like this so far. This is obviously a very rough version of just like the first minute of the game, pretty much. I'm hoping to make a full game, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a playable demo. And the playable demo will be a vertical slice of all the things you expect to do in the final game, up to like one version of everything. So, one quest, one RPG battle, one inventory item that you obtain and then use, stuff like that. One sort of stretch of gameplay. And then once I have a playable demo, currently I'm like needing maybe another month to get there, but once I get there I'm going to release the playable demo for people to play. I'm going to link it to the YouTube channel, I'm going to link it everywhere I can, try to get my friends to play it. Once I have the playable demo out, I'm going to get feedback about what the full game should entail, and then I'm going to make the full game. So the art assets right now are all me, the music, the writing, everything is me, the coding. And this is hopefully gonna look a little better, but it's not gonna look that different because the hope is to create sort of a sketch look to it. Like, it's not gonna be as hideous as something like 12-Ounce Mouse, but it's gonna be in that same vein of intentionally using a lo-fi art style for the sake of comedy, for the sake of like whatever I want to do with it, because it gives me freedom, because I'm not much of an artist, but it gives me freedom to make whatever I want, and so I am going to kind of keep it like this. I might add some color later, I might, you know, touch up the lines a bit, but it's gonna be pretty crude intentionally in the style of like Adult Swim cartoons. So right now you can talk to things. First I'm gonna show you the bed. You can talk to the bed and it says, do you want to sleep or not? If you say no, then it says you stare at your bed expecting it to do something, but it's just a bed. And then if you press Y for yes, it says, your bed thinks of itself, the nerve of this guy. When you try to sleep after already sleeping the entire weekend away, you become too self-conscious to sleep. So the premise of this game is that you have to save the world from a quote-unquote dream collider because an evil mad scientist has activated basically a super collider that works in like a dream sense, where it causes reality and dreams to gradually blur together until the world's gonna end because reality's gonna become so distorted with dreams that it'll become too abstract to live in. And so you have like the intention is you have 5 days to save the world, and each day things are going to get more surreal and weird and abstract. And so this is day 1 when things are still somewhat normal, but hopefully by the end we'll have all sorts of weird little things that happen, like changes in art style, changes in the way that music sounds, changes in the way that dialogue behaves, changes in the way that the mechanics work, just all these different ways to kind of mess with the player in a fun way. So right now I have to talk to this guy, Vendor, because he will give me coffee, and coffee allows me to move faster, and I might change that, but this is still the early version of the demo, so right now I have it so that coffee makes you go fast. So this is another location. This is a stretch of road. There's gonna be backgrounds and there's gonna be more buildings in the final version of this area, but this is just to test out scrolling screens and stuff like that. So the only other location so far is Stickums, which is kind of the Moe's bar of this world. This is like the frequenting bar for various characters. Like, this is where a lot of stuff will happen, hopefully. And as you can hear, I added music to this area. This is actually self-produced. Everything's self-produced using either sample packs or Fama Tracker or just MIDI files. So when you go into here, you meet Saloon Steve. I love this guy. I'm really proud of this guy because he's goofy. So you have to talk to him, and he says, "I'd love you to fix this up and up. However, this here saloon's merely a front for the cowboy mafia. It's the perfect hideout, I reckon. No one's suspecting a thing. Say, you're not a cowboy fed, are ya?" Sorry, I just, you know, I'm saying out loud what you're gonna end up reading in the game just to narrate. But so basically, oh, the caffeine wore off. Anyways, so there's a lot of little gameplay ideas that I have that are not there yet. There's this guy Buzz. He just says Buzz. I didn't actually draw that one. A friend of mine drew it and I scanned it. I hand draw this all on paper and then I scan it and kind of change the contrast and stuff to my liking. This is all pretty raw so far. Like, you can see the erase marks on that background here because I had to fix that. So, you know, I will redraw some of this stuff, but yeah. So the way that this happens, I'm gonna show you up until the first battle, because the first battle will sort of explain an important part of what the game's gonna be. So something strange happens, and then you're supposed to walk back to Stickums. That'll be clearer in the final game. Basically, the whole appeal of the game is gonna be, it's a combination of just absurdist comedy with sort of themes about social anxiety and sort of social awkwardness. And so the battle system is not going to be combat, it's going to be social combat. So it's going to play like an RPG. So this is the first enemy you can fight. His name's Mr. I. And there's all these things you can do. Right now, I don't have all the programming done for the battle system, but I do have the attack and the tell a joke commands vaguely working. So, let's see what happens. If you press attack, it says, you attempt to insult Mr. I's appearance. Mr. I winces in emotional pain, and then Mr. I insults your dear mother. It's effective. So I just took damage from that. And then you can tell a joke. You prepare your best joke, but you get the timing wrong. So that also damages you. And so there's different approaches. So the idea is going to be that you're trying to sort of talk to people rather than fight them, but the way you talk to them will create different approaches depending on the enemy. Like, some enemies will be more receptive to, for example, I'm going to add like a flirting feature. Like, some might be more receptive to flirting but less receptive to insults. Some will be more likely to be harmed by insults, and so you can win by insulting them. Some of them will be like more like weak to like jokes. Like, if you make them laugh, then that'll help you win sort of the battle. And so it's sort of all about like reading the room and trying your best to figure out how to read the room. And so it's kind of about social anxiety, but as an RPG system rather than as a dialogue tree. And so like right now there's only one insult, but like the retaliation insults I have randomized, where if Mr. I responds back, it's like Mr. I sings your least favorite song, and that hurts you. And I'm probably gonna add a level up system at some point. I want to add some kind of stat so you can tell how much health is being drained and stuff like that. Because right now all that stuff is in here, but it's not visually identifiable yet. And so basically, also I'm really proud of this battle song. It's really good. But so yeah, basically this is the conceit. It's gonna be a combination of absurdist humor and adventure RPG mechanics that make humor out of sort of social anxiety stuff. And then each day will get progressively more and more abstract and surreal, and so that'll add to an element of like the aesthetic of it will change as the game goes. It's not all gonna look exactly like this, but this is gonna be like the template for what it looks like. It's gonna be pretty sort of minimalist, hand-drawn, crude art style stuff. So yeah, so basically the idea is I'm going to make a playable demo. If people like the demo, I'm gonna sort of open it up to crowdfunding of like, you can help support my YouTube channel, or you can pay me directly through like PayPal or something, or I don't want to do a Kickstarter necessarily. I don't think that this game would take off well enough that a Kickstarter would do much, but like the thing is I can afford to make the game. The thing is the time investment. Like having a source of income for the game would help me be able to invest more time in making it, which would help it get more fully finished and finished quicker. So I'm hoping to, you know, promote the game a little bit. I'm gonna keep doing devlogs every now and then, explaining little details I've added, and also maybe teaching a bit about how game design works, like how I coded the various things, including, like for example, all the living creatures on screen have animations. I had to hand draw different frames, scan them, and then use coding to randomize the animations so that they would wiggle in such a way that makes it look like they're alive. And that was all stuff I did by myself, so I could teach people how to do stuff like animations, how to do RPG inventory stuff. Like, as I'm learning it, I'm gonna teach people, and so be on the lookout for more devlogs, and then be on the lookout for the playable demo. And when it's out, and throughout this process, I'm open to suggestions, as long as they're within the boundaries of what I'm intending to do and what I can do. So like, certain artistic things I just can't pull off, and then some things are just not what I'm going for. But yeah, I also am hoping to make a lot more just sort of weird little quirky characters you can talk to, and I might even open that up to people if they want to draw something that ends up in the game. I'm gonna reach out to friends first before I open that up to viewers and people I don't know, but the intention behind it is I want to update people as I'm making the game so that it provokes me to make the game more and actually get it finished, and then also allows people insight into the creative process that I'm going through, because I think the game will turn out really fun, even if it doesn't turn out particularly high fidelity. And that's the hope, is like, if you didn't mind some of the flaws with early Simpsons and Beavis and Butthead and like old cartoon-based games, if you don't mind that some of those games were janky and kind of crude, but you liked the humor or you liked the little weird intricacies of the gameplay, this is what the game, that's what I'm modeling my game after. It's not going to necessarily be like hard to play, but it's going to be intentionally leaning into humor and world building more so than like heavy gameplay stuff. And so most of what's going to be appealing about the game is going to be sort of the writing and the experience of it. And if you're interested in something like that, be on the lookout. Easiest way to support the game so far is to play the demo when it's out, give me feedback, and also I would appreciate any additional income I can make to work on this. So if you're willing to spare anything for the channel or just for me personally, I would be really appreciative. So yeah, this is Dream Collider. I'm excited to work on it. Stay tuned for more devlogs and stay tuned for more videos that are not about the game, because there's definitely going to be some coming soon. Thank you.